What's up, basketball fans? Welcome to the Vodat Report. It's time to talk about the Toronto Raptors yet once again. It happens every time I drop one of those 4 a.m. videos. I go to sleep, I wake up, I'm excited to relax my day, relax, read the comments, enjoy my breakfast. But I'm skipping my breakfast again to provide you this update, a huge update on a potential OG Anunoby deal that could be had between an Eastern Conference team, the Toronto Raptors, and a Western Conference team, as well as a very interesting hypothetical based on Pascal Siakam trade rumors as well, which we will get to. So if you're ready to watch this video, make sure to hit the subscribe button. That'd be very much appreciated. And make sure to like this video as well. That'd be awesome, guys. So let's get right into today's video. Now, as you guys know, I do like to give out shout outs on my channel. And the shout out from literally 8 hours ago when I dropped this video was Grayson Gaming. Thank you so much for supporting this channel through your likes and comments. It is very much appreciated. Now, let's talk about the potential trade rumor that could happen between the Toronto Raptors, the Indiana Pacers, and the Dallas Mavericks. Yes, a proposal of a three-team deal could happen according to Jake Weinbach. The Pacers, Raptors, and Mavs could engage in a three-team deal that would send OG Anunoby to Indiana, multiple first-round picks that would include the number 7 overall pick to Toronto, and Buddy Hield to Dallas. Toronto is actively exploring options to move up in the draft. Now, the first question that comes to mind for a lot of Raptors fans is why would the Raptors try to trade OG Anunoby? And there's only one reason I can think of why, besides obviously the salary cap issue that they're going to be facing very soon, is that OG Anunoby simply wants a bigger role. That was being reported in my last video. And if I'm being truthfully honest, I just don't see that happening in Toronto as well, because even for hypothetically speaking, guys, if for a moment we say, yes, let's get Pascal Siakam and you trade him for Scoot Henderson, Brandon Miller, whoever, and then that player comes in and OG Anunoby is still the third option, like he probably wants to be a second option. And this is challenging, right? This is challenging for the Raptors because all of a sudden, does that become an issue in the future as well? Look, I really like OG Anunoby and he's my second favorite player on this Raptors team. I love him. And I would hate for the Raptors to lose him. But if there's ever a draft, and again, this is under the assumption that he wants a bigger role and he wants to be moved from the Toronto Raptors, if there's ever a draft you trade into the top 10, this is it. This is a very interesting draft. I think the Raptors, the reason why they want to trade him into this draft, and particularly the 7th pick, is because they have a certain guys on their mind of who they want to draft. They fear could potentially go before they reach the 13th spot. But let's quickly take a look at the draft order here and what the Dallas and the Pacers could give up to the Toronto Raptors. Now, as you see there, of course, it's a rumor that the Toronto Raptors will receive Indiana Pacers' 7th pick. And look, it was the same rumor last year as well with the Portland Trail Blazers, that if the Raptors were to trade OG Anunoby there, the 7th overall pick would have to come along as well as some other assets. So it's under the assumption that if this trade goes through, the Indiana Pacers give up their 7th pick. Now, I know a lot of fans feel like Dallas might give up their 10th pick to the Toronto Raptors as well. I'm not saying that can't happen. I just think if the Raptors are receiving both the 7th and the 10th pick, they're very likely to give up their 13th to Dallas. Again, that's just my assumption. And obviously other pieces would have to be included, future picks as well as some other players, which I will get to in just a moment. But the reason I say this is I just don't see the Raptors having the 7th, 10th, and 13th pick. It's just very hard to see the Dallas Mavericks, acquiring the 13th pick and giving up their 10th pick and not receiving any more assets. So I say this from a realistic point of view as well. When you talk about getting really 3 high quality prospects, it becomes really challenging to find the minutes for them, for all of them, even if they're raw, they're a point guard, they're a shooter. Again, if you're trading OG Anunoby, that's still the assumption that you're bringing at the very least, one of Fred or Gary back. Now you have a lineup, of course, Jakob Poeltl back as well. So now you have a lineup of Jakob Poeltl, Pascal Siakam, Scottie Barnes, one of Gary or Fred, and then the 5th starter is probably going to be the rookie. And if you're adding 2 more, you've got to find some room on the bench for them as well. And again, this is for a team that already has a lot of people, a lot of players they need to develop. So look, don't get me wrong. I'm not against the idea of the Raptors having 3 first-round picks at the 7th, 10th, and 13th spot. That would be amazing if you ask me. Obviously, there's a lot of prospects I could see the Raptors like, and in particular, someone like a Cason Wallace, Kobe Buffkin, Bilal Coulibaly. But that's the thing. There have been teams that have been rumored to take those type of players before they even get to the Toronto Raptors, which is why I believe the Raptors are trying to move into the draft with the 7th and 10th position. So again, we'll see what happens. But let's talk about the player movement that could happen between these three teams. Now, taking a look at the Indiana Pacers roster here, obviously we're seeing that Buddy Hield could go to the Dallas Mavericks. So that's about $19.2 million that's being moved. And there is some, they're obviously getting OG Anunoby, which is about $18 million, and they need to sign him to a big contract as well because he's a free agent after next season. But so is Tyrese Halliburton. You're going to have to pay him very soon as well. So again, if you're the Indiana Pacers, you're currently next season locked into $95 million, which is well under the luxury tax. And, obviously you got a lot of money to spend there, but you still will eventually have to pay guys as well. So it becomes a little bit of a challenge for the Pacers to get rid of salary. Again, Buddy Hield making the most money makes sense. I think maybe you could move, if I'm the Raptors, I'm potentially asking for someone like an Andrew Nembhard. Obviously, picks aren't enough. And whatever we may be getting from Dallas, which I'll get to in just a moment, I don't think that's enough for OG Anunoby. You're obviously looking at some sort of prospects to come back. Maybe someone like a Jalen Smith. I know people may not be high on him, but Jalen Smith is a young prospect who's able to attack the basket. He's listed as a power forward. I think you can play him in small ball lineups as a center. He blocks shots. He also does shoot the three-point ball very well. And look, I know a lot of Raptors fans will mention we're not doing this deal with Bennedict Mathurin. Without Bennedict Mathurin, I don't think that deal gets done. I don't think the Pacers are giving up Bennedict Mathurin at all. So realistically, it has to be from the Pacers' point of view anyways, at least from what you're getting from the Pacers is 7th overall pick. You're definitely getting Andrew Nembhard, which gives the Raptors a good backup guard to have finally a good quality prospect. And then you have to get at least future first-round picks from the Indiana Pacers as well. Look, and I want to quickly go back on the last screen here. I forgot to mention, but the Pacers do have the 26th pick and the 32nd pick as well. It's not showing the 26th in this picture here, but they do have the 26th pick as well. So again, I don't know if the Raptors want that many prospects in one draft, but I think realistically, you're probably asking for future first-round picks. Now let's move on to the Dallas Mavericks here and look at their roster and what pieces, may be moving from their end. Now, taking a look at the Dallas Mavericks, obviously, if they are to receive Buddy Hield, who's making about $18-19 million, you have to shed some salary as well because you have still to re-sign Kyrie Irving, who's going to be making a lot of money. Then you got Luka Doncic already making a lot of money. I think 3 realistic pieces I could see being moved in a trade, whether that's going to the Pacers or the Raptors, is Tim Hardaway Jr., Reggie Bullock, and then also Maxi Kleber or one of JaVale McGee as well. So those are 4 names personally I keep an eye on. Now, if I'm the Raptors, what intrigues me here? Obviously, you want a blue chip prospect like Josh Green or Jaden Hardy. Again, I don't think the Dallas Mavericks are giving that up. Given the fact that they're not getting OG Anunoby in this deal, we have to take that into consideration. So assuming that Dallas gives up the 10th pick to the Raptors, you're probably getting something like a Tim Hardaway Jr. or maybe a JaVale McGee, maybe moving to the Pacers, or Reggie Bullock wouldn't honestly be a bad player to get in return. Again, as a salary filler to the Raptors, he's a guard that can shoot the 3 and he's got an expiring contract. So it's not like you're on the hook for a long-term salary as well. So obviously the Dallas Mavericks do need to send some sort of, players back to cut some salary as well. And those are personally the 4 names. I don't see Davis Bertans before people mention it. I don't see Davis Bertans being moved. Neither the Pacers or the Raptors want that contract, especially given the fact that he has struggled the last few seasons as well. So again, that's just my personal take on this entire OG Anunoby and 3-team deal. It's a lot for both the Pacers and the Dallas to give up, but obviously Dallas get someone in Buddy Hield that's a great floor spacer. You get someone, that's providing a lot of instant offense for guys like Luka and Kyrie that have the ball in their hand. It gives you a legitimate one of the best 3-point shooters in the entire NBA. And again, you could obviously mention a few names from even the Raptors' point of view, right? Like if the Raptors are getting the 10th pick, maybe, I don't know, you're sending Chris Boucher, right? Someone like a Malachi Flynn, someone like Delano Banton elsewhere. Again, especially if you're under the assumption that you're getting Andrew Nembhard back from the Pacers, you're getting a backup guard, and then you're going to draft a guard at the 7th or 10th or the 13th spot. So then you have all of a sudden too many guards at the backup spot and not enough minutes to go around. So again, I'm very interested to hear your thoughts on this, but let's quickly touch upon those Pascal trade speculation as well. Now, this was also being reported by Jake Weinbach, and he said more on Siakam. Raptors have a high price tag, which we all know could be enticed by a package built around Atlanta's John Collins. Now, again, I don't know about that. John Collins does not. I know, like it says, a package around John Collins. I don't see how this makes sense for the Raptors. You're getting rid of a power forward to acquire a power forward, and we already have too many of those. And Look, John Collins has attitude issues. It's been well received. He's said in the media he wants a bigger role. He wants more touches. So now he's going to come to the Raptors. He's probably going to make the same complaints again. So I don't want anything to do with John Collins. If I'm being completely honest, I want someone like a DeJounte Murray. I want obviously they have some very intriguing pieces as well. So we'll see about the Atlanta Hawks. We've talked about them in past videos. Blazers would not offer the number 3 pick for just Siakam, which is crazy because Blazers need all the help they can get. I don't know if I buy that. They're not offering just the number 3 pick for just Siakam. I mean, if I'm the Raptors, I know this may sound crazy to a lot of non-Raptors fans. You want more than just a third pick. So, and the Rockets should maintain high interest. Now, I can see the Rockets, especially assuming they might re-sign James Harden. Then there's teams like the Timberwolves, the Spurs, and Kings could also express interest. I just don't see those 3 teams wanting Pascal Siakam. And if I'm being honest, I just don't know if I mean Spurs and Timberwolves obviously do have assets. I don't think they're in a place where they would give up a lot for Pascal Siakam. Kings maybe I don't know how desperate they are. You could question that front court of Pascal Siakam and Sabonis as well. They aren't great 3-point shooters, so that could be questioned as well. So again, I'm not buying too much on these Siakam rumors, but I am very intrigued by the OG Anunoby rumors because this is something I've constantly gone on the trade machine, and 2 teams constantly come to mind: the Pacers and the Dallas Mavericks. And I say the Dallas Mavericks because they do have guys like Josh Green, Jaden Hardy. They have their first round pick this year and maybe future assets as well, right? Future first round picks. Obviously, the Indiana Pacers could also give up a lot as well. So again, the Raptors have a lot of options, and clearly they are high on certain guys. Now, I want to quickly touch on this before I end the video. I think Cason Wallace, Kobe Buffkin, Bilal Coulibaly, and people may not believe me when I say this, Rayan Rupert is someone you absolutely need to keep your eye on when it comes to the Toronto Raptors. Why do I believe the Raptors are trying to trade into the draft? Because they simply do not just want to draft Rayan Rupert, who's a project, by the way, but he's a great defensive player. I've talked about him in the past. But if they do draft someone like a Bilal or Rayan, who are both, very raw, they definitely want to add immediate talent as well. They already have a lot of raw prospects they need to work on in Christian Koloko, Precious Achiuwa as well. So again, if the Raptors do want to draft those guys, they absolutely want someone like a Kobe Buffkin, Cason Wallace, maybe if Anthony Black falls there. I don't know if that's a possibility for the Raptors. Maybe Grady Dick, although I don't see the Raptors wanting him as well. But you never know. Clearly, they have some prospects in mind, and there have been teams like the Jazz and OKC that have reportedly made promises to certain guys like Bilal. Maybe they take Kobe Buffkin, who the Raptors really want. So again, that's why I see the Raptors trying to move up in the draft to target some of those guys. I know people will say they should try to move up to the 3rd or 4th pick, guys. I'm going to be honest. After the top 3 guys, there's not a huge difference between 4, 8, and 9, like around that spot. So that's why I think the Raptors do have certain guys in mind in terms of talent anyways. But I'm very curious to hear your thoughts. There's no trivia question. I haven't had the time. Like I said, I quickly got up, brushed my teeth, got ready, and I made this video. So if you want a shout out, you can always let me know down in the comment section. I'll give you a shout out for my next video. So that will be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you guys have yourself a great day.